If you felt stuck trying to lose weight, you're not alone. Enter Weight Loss by Hers. It's designed to support you in reaching your goals. And Hers now offers access to an affordable range of FDA-approved GLP-1 medications, including the Wegovy pill and the Wegovy pen. With Wegovy at Hers, lose up to 20% or more of your body weight when combined with diet and exercise. It helps you regulate your appetite, eat less, and keep weight off. Plus, Wegovy is the first GLP-1 available in a pill, so there are no needles needed. Everything is 100% online through Hers. You'll connect with a licensed provider who will determine if treatment is right for you. If prescribed, your medication is delivered right to your door. No insurance necessary. And it doesn't stop there. Weight Loss by Hers goes beyond medication by offering access to 24/7 messaging with your care team and tons of in-app lifestyle and nutrition tips like recipes, meal plans, fitness videos, sleep content, and more. Even better, with a range of affordable GLP-1 options, Hers makes it simple to find an approach that fits your needs and your budget if eligible. You'll get a treatment plan personalized to you and unlimited dosage changes as needed. It's weight loss designed to work with your life. Ready to reach your goals? Visit forhers.com/women to get personalized, affordable care that gets you. That's forhers.com/women. forhers.com/women. Weight Loss by Hers is not available in all 50 states. Wegovy is the registered trademark of Novo Nordisk A/S. To get started and learn more, including important safety information, Wegovy clinical study information, and restrictions, visit forhers.com.
This podcast is sponsored by Talkspace.
Last year, I went through many different life changes. I needed to take a pause and examine how I was feeling in the inside to better show up for the ones who need me to be my best version of myself.
When you're navigating life's changes, Talkspace can help. Talkspace is the #1 rated online therapy, bringing you professional support from licensed therapists and psychiatry providers that you can access anytime, anywhere.
Living a busy life, navigating a long-distance relationship, becoming a first-step father, Talkspace made all of those journeys possible. I could speak with my therapist in the office. I could speak with my therapist in the comfort of my home. I was never alone.
Talkspace works with most major insurers, and most insured members have a $0 copay. No insurance, no problem. Now get $80 off your first month with promo code SPACE80 when you go to Talkspace.com. Match with a licensed therapist today at Talkspace.com. Save $80 with code SPACE80 at Talkspace.com.
Hi, I'm Yue Xu.
And I'm Julie Krafchick.
We're active daters turned dating insiders.
Here to dive into everything modern dating and relationships.
Welcome to DATEABLE. Hello, friends.
Welcome back to DATEABLE. Here we are.
The two of us for a very hot topic that many of you love discussing, which is, where do you meet people? How do you meet people? What's the place to be?
And we actually ran a poll in our community through Instagram and Facebook because, there's a lot of chatter right now that everyone is so over the apps. Everyone wants to meet in real life. And we wanted to see, okay, what is actually happening? Where are people turning to meet people nowadays? And the results actually surprised me a bit. 54% of people still said the apps as the most prominent source, the majority. 20% said they went to social activities like pickleball, run clubs, book clubs, climbing gyms, all the stuff that's getting a lot of attention and press is the new dating apps. 16% through friends/network. 10% at dating events like singles mixers and speed dating. That actually surprised me too, because I feel like you hear a lot of people talking about speed dating and singles events, but it doesn't seem like the numbers are supporting that as much as the chatter.
Yeah, I was going to say that 10% actually seems a little high for me.
Oh, you think?
I actually thought less people were going to these things because anything dating related now seems to be on the decrease. People aren't going to the apps or dating related events or singles related events. If it's in the title of an event, I think a lot of people are turning away from it.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'd love to do more research on this actually, because I do think there is that sentiment out there for sure. But then you do hear a lot of people that are like reviving speed dating events. And like we know a lot of people in the industry that are doing dating events, like dating shows that we talk about, like the Updating and Love Isn't Blind, those types of shows. And then we also had like the Chaotic Singles events. So like we do hear of a lot of this stuff. And there has been a overall increase in just like IRL events. So that's why it was surprising to me that it was only 10%. But the 20% also surprised me.
That it's high or low?
You know, I wish we had done this poll like last year or the year before to have a baseline. So I think that's the part that's hard. But I actually think that it's a bit lower than I thought. That it feels like you hear so much in the media of just like how run clubs are the new dating apps and everyone's doing all this stuff. So I expected it to be a little higher. And the fact that the dating apps are still number one was surprising.
Yeah, 54% is still pretty high, especially with apps reporting 30% decrease in app usage. But it is still, like, if you think about where you're going to meet someone to date, it is, in my mind, still the first place to go to because that is what it was designed for.
I think that is the part that's hard, is that I think people want to do IRL because they're fed up with the apps, right? That it's hard on the apps, but it completely undermines that it's also difficult to meet people in real life.
Absolutely.
And the reason why apps were created is because of that, right?
Yeah. Something I've noticed, and obviously this is not researched at all. We have no data to support this, but just an overall sentiment is that we are less social. Like there's less social gatherings for major holidays like Memorial Day and 4th of July. It used to be such a big event, like someone would host a barbecue and you go to a house party. You just don't hear of those as much anymore. And I actually heard someone overheard a friend group talking and they were like, what are we doing this year for 4th of July? Like, what is anything happening? It feels so quiet.
I think there's definite truth to that. And I think about it a lot. And I'm like, is it just because I'm 40? And, you know, like people are doing other things. But there's been a lot of like actual articles written and, you know, studies out there that house parties are like non-existent anymore.
I know.
And that this stuff has declined and Gen Z is spending less time, you know, in person with people. There was a study I was reading, and I'm going to like butcher where this came from, but it was reputable, I promise you. And it was saying that
Cosmo.com.
It was not Cosmo. It was actually, let me just pull it up really quickly.
While you pull that up, I just want to say I'm so sad that house parties are dead because when I lived in New York, if you got invited to a house party, you know that was a gold mine. You were like, hell yeah, I'm going to this house party. It's going to be a good time. But also you're going to meet people who are in the friend circle. And that's like literally the best place to meet someone.
Yeah, I think that's why people are turning to these social activities more because like this stuff doesn't exist. It's more of like a less organic. I mean, it's organic in a way, right? But it's not like just like, oh, my friend is having a house party.
Yeah.
Let me just show up. It takes a little more effort than that.
Yeah.
Okay, so I found it. According to the Social Connection in America, they did a study that people get together in person with people they care about. 72% was twice a month or less. That's like really low. That you only see people that you care about twice a month or less. And 28% was at least once a week.
Wow. That's so low. That's so disappointing. I know that if I didn't have tennis, my number would be around that too. It's really because I play tennis weekly that I get to see the friends who play tennis. But the ones that don't, I maybe see them once a month.
Well, I think that's the benefit of finding these activities that you can do more on like repeat. It's interesting though, because I wanted to ask like, have you actually met someone through these social activities?
Right.
Because we see so many articles, right? And I don't know about you, but I haven't actually heard that many anecdotal success stories, at least from friends of mine. Maybe you have it because you're in the tennis community more. But when we asked, at least on Instagram, we did get a few success stories. We had one person say they met their husband at a tango marathon. Love that one. They also said we had someone that met someone at a wine club, dinner club, wine fair, gin seminar, bar trivia, and bar bingo. And I was like, damn, you are active. If you are meeting people at all this stuff, you are going to stuff.
Someone really likes alcohol.
Yeah. That too. Another person wrote in and said that they met a lot of men through sailing. And, we also got some of the ones that you'd expect, like run clubs and dance, and then even the obscure, like a figure drawing class. So it can happen. It can happen. We got some. But I do want to point out, I think most of the responses we got were like, they don't meet people at this stuff. And one person even said, never. I feel like people make these stories up.
I can't see why if you're just going to these one-off things.
Yeah, totally.
It could just be based on your interest, and then you go to like 2 or 3 of the events. It's so hard to establish connection if you just see someone sporadically. But I know that when I did the Zog sports thing in New York and I was on that kickball league, we saw each other every week for 6 weeks. And 3 couples came out of that league because you just got to spend so much time together. So I think instead of spreading yourself wide on these social activities and clubs, just pick one and do it on a weekly basis.
And that's exactly what we want to talk about in this episode, because we know there's a rise in all this stuff. We know there's less house parties and organic gatherings. So we do kind of need to like create. And it doesn't need to just be sports. I want to put that out too, because I feel like sometimes when I read this stuff, I'm just like, oh my God, like I don't want to do any of this because I'm not like a sporty people. But we have found alternatives to that too. So I don't want people to get like, oh my God, I have to do all these sports to meet people nowadays. Not saying that. If that's for you, great. If it's not for you, we have alternatives. So we want to talk about that today of just, what do you do once you're there? How do you actually make the most of this stuff that you are forming connection if that is part of the reason that you're going in the first place?
Yeah, the frequency, sure, matters, but also going in with the intention, and this is going to sound counterintuitive, but we preach this a lot. The intention is not to meet people. The intention is going in with your own interests. If you go in thirsty, being like, is anybody good here? There's nobody good here. Then that energy is already received by the people in there. But if you're like, I'm so excited for this crochet club, I can't wait to get crocheting, then that's that positive energy that really magnetizes people.
Well, I absolutely agree that you should not be going to run clubs because you heard that's like the place to meet people. If you love running, by all means, do it. Go for it. But I do think I agree with you on that. I think too, though, the reality is like a lot of people have the goal of meeting people through this stuff. So I don't think it's like necessarily suppressing it completely, but I do think it's not like I'm going to go and meet my life partner. Like I'm going to go and just meet people and like see where that connection leads and like the network effect of it. I think that is a healthier place than, I'm there as like a meat market and then it just starts to feel icky. And we'll get into how some of the run clubs have started to feel that way.
The openness is so key at these events. If you're closed off and you're filtering people already, then people are going to filter you too. But I think what we miss a lot of times for these events is that you never know who you are going to meet and you never know who they know and can introduce you to.
Right.
The goal is to expand your network of people who share similar interests so that you are able to meet their friends and then their friends of friends. The goal is not to be like one and done, here we go.
So before we get into like more of this, how do we actually connect with people there? I want to take a quick break to hear from our sponsors and then share a bit more of just why is this even like a cultural moment in the first place right now? So let's take a minute to hear from our sponsors.
If you've been listening to Dateable for a while now, you know that we're all about pursuing what works for you when it comes to dating, as long as you are intentional about it. The goal is to be honest about what you want. And sometimes that's casual dating or a fling. That's why we're so glad the app Fling exists if you aren't really in the market for a long-term relationship. It's time to remove the stigma too. Casual dating is absolutely a valid, confident choice if that's what you want at any age or life stage. The key is being aligned with your partner or partners. Fling is designed for women in mind. It's completely free to join for us ladies. You also get to choose who can see you, share photos privately, and keep things discreet, which gives you more control over the experience. So if you're looking to have a little fun while you're single, download the Fling app in the App Store or visit fling.me today. Again, download the Fling app in the App Store or visit fling.me today. Time to get comfortable with Avocado Green Mattress. Their certified organic mattresses are specifically designed to relieve pressure points, support your body the way it needs, and help you actually get the deep, restorative sleep you've been missing. Every mattress is made with thoughtfully sourced materials and built with real care, so you get incredible sleep night after night. I'm proud to say I can now tell the difference between something that's just marketed well versus something that's actually well made. Like if I'm spending that much time in bed, hopefully sleeping, but occasionally spiraling, I want the mattress underneath me to actually support my body. Am I spiraling? It feels like one of those grown-up purchases where you're like, oh yeah, this is what quality feels like. Avocado products are made, not manufactured, and thoughtfully crafted with real materials to deliver lasting comfort and support. Go to avocadogreenmattress.com/dateable to check out their mattresses and furniture sale. That's avocadogreenmattress.com/dateable. avocadogreenmattress.com/dateable.
So why are social clubs and sports all the rage right now? It feels like at least a lot of the studies I was looking at were sharing how they're really become a replacement infrastructure for friendship and dating in urban life because, people are not feeling like they have these go-to spots anymore. There's obviously the app sentiments and, just I think the fallout from the pandemic in general of just wanting to be out into the world more. But a lot of us don't have maybe workplaces that are like social anymore, whether it's remote or just, I don't know, the state of the office environment right now feels like there's a lot of negativity there. Like you don't hear of like the work happy hours as much and, all budgets are pulled in. So people aren't doing like stuff like, back in the day, I remember like doing all this like external stuff company paid. That just doesn't really happen anymore.
And we're also competing with our phones. Our phones offer so much entertainment nowadays that you're weighing your options of either staying home, watching some TV and flipping through your phone and be entertained that way and get those dopamine hits, or going out in the world and who knows what you're going to run into. So I think that competition for attention is also what's pulling us away from social interaction. And then the last point I think that we need to really address here is that the world is scary. Kids aren't even allowed to be out and having their play dates anymore because you never know who's lurking. You never know if there's going to be violence somewhere. I feel like a lot of us feel the need to be safe at home, and something about just being outside is scary for some.
I blame the internet a bit for that,
Oh,
like the
sure.
fear-mongering for sure. But I think despite all this, our need hasn't gone away.
No.
Like even though there's more resistance, the need for social connection is more prominent, I would argue, than ever before because it's almost been taken away from us. And it's not just like in the past, it's almost like something you slipped into, like, oh, I just like met these people and we're all friends now and we're hanging out and my coworkers, we go out all the time. And it feels like you have to be like a lot more conscious nowadays to like actually form connection. And
Yeah.
that's why a lot of these like social sports and activities have seen such an increase. It was showing that participation in like things like run clubs, pickleball, climbing gyms went up 200% plus in the US in the last couple years.
Not surprised at all. Because also with social media, there is this sentiment that if you're not learning something new or working on personal development, then you're wasting your time. You know, like back in the day, friends get together and hang out and they do
True.
nothing. We would just sit around and literally do nothing. Now
The
it's
best
like
times.
the best times. I mean, watch Friends. Like that's how it used to be. You go to someone's house and you just sit there and you just talk and hang out. But now it's like, are you being productive with your time? Are you learning a new skill? Are you getting yourself out there? Are you getting enough vitamin D? Like, you know, there's just never this cycle of, oh, I'm not good enough. I got to keep moving along and like being productive. So maybe that's why the social sports fulfill that kind of need. It's like, I'm also being productive.
That's really interesting. I guess, I mean, you're clearly someone that goes and has formed like a community in tennis. I guess like I know some of your story of like why you went there in the first place after a breakup, but like what has been your experience in the sense of like what drove you to do it? And then like how connected are you to these people that you're interacting with? Or is it more like tennis is still the thing at the forefront over the connection?
I think what drove me in the first place is what I needed to an escape from my mind. I was overthinking everything with work and life. I just wanted an escape, and tennis provides that escape. And I find that everybody I've met wants the same thing. All they want to talk about and focus on is tennis. But the flip side of it is, and this is what's so funny, is the other day I was playing with a new partner. Like we were just put on a team together and we know nothing about each other. Like, and we still know nothing about each other. But we had this vulnerable, like an hour and a half of a match where we were communicating and we had a relationship with each other. And I went home and I Googled the shit out of her because I was like, who is she? I don't know what she does for work. I don't know what she's like at home. I don't know what she looks like without a visor on. Isn't that odd that like there's just this whole other world that we've transformed ourselves into where we're mere strangers? If she walked down the street today in regular clothes, I would not recognize her. But yet we were so bonded on the court together.
That is so fascinating because I think that actually is the sentiment that people refer to of like these stories of meeting people are urban myths because it feels like this is what happens. Like I know for me, I would say I've never been great at being consistent with something. So I do want to like preface it by saying that like I've never had like you have tennis that you go to all the time. Like I've been more of like that person that comes for like 4 or 5 and then dips out because I'm not seeing like either the connection to what I'm doing or the results of meeting people. But it always felt like when I went with the intention of meeting people, even kickball, and clearly some people have had huge successes for that. But for me, it always felt like I didn't really get to know the people that well.
Yeah.
Like it always felt like there was like an arm's distance still. Like we were doing this stuff. We're on a team. We're playing. But I don't know anything about you. And I didn't feel bonded to anyone. So that's kind of, I think, why we want to address this topic. And it's good to know that like you feel it also.
I think this is why it's important to understand none of this is the default setting. Like friendships, relationships don't just grow just because you showed up. You still have to water that relationship. And what I've learned after 3 years of playing tennis is I have to be really proactive at keeping these relationships in between matches and clinics. Otherwise, they just become tennis friends. And I don't want just tennis friends. But I also have some other friends who have grown a community. Yes, they all met through tennis, but now it's like they meet weekly and they do soup night and someone brings, someone cooks a soup and there's a story around the soup. And I love that. I'm like, that's what I want for me too. But I have to be the one to proactively and to think about that and to initiate that.
So how did they get there? Because I do think that is kind of like the holy grail, right? Is like I go to this thing because I'm interested, and then it becomes more. And now it's becoming like an integrated part of my life, and I'm meeting their friends, and now maybe there's someone I could date from that. And it like is kind of the vision that people have that I would say I don't really hear that many of those stories.
You know, this is the formula because I think I've cracked the code on this formula.
Okay.
And so you have to either engineer for this to happen in succession or you have to just trust the process. One, you have to have stories to bond over. So if you're just going to a woodworking class, for example, and you're going on a weekly basis, I guarantee you're not going to meet anybody there because there's no story to bond. You haven't overcome anything.
Right.
It's just like, unless the teacher showed up naked one day and you're all like, whoa, wow. He has a huge dick.
Maybe that person that met someone at the drawing class.
I actually was going to mention the figure drawing class. I'm going to table that for a little bit later. I do have a story about that. But it's almost like you have to go through something together.
Yeah.
And that's why I think the run clubs has worked for some people because maybe you overcame like a PR or the longest distance. And then you go, oh my gosh, it was raining that day. And I can't believe we got over that. You bond over that. And then the next time you meet outside the context, you can share you can revisit the same stories.
Yeah.
So I think with the tennis friends that I was talking about who formed this bond with their group is that they had won sectionals one year or whatever. And they were like, wow, we play really well together. Let's celebrate. Had a celebratory dinner where they had soup. And then that's where the soup tradition really took off. So I think you can engineer that in whatever environment you're in. But if it's a passive activity, you're never going to find that.
So I was thinking about this more too. And I think the key is that moving the interaction out of the activity. Mm-hmm. And I think you can do it a few ways. Like there is all this like stuff, I think everyone thinks like I just go to the activity, but there's, walking to coffee after a run or like stretching together or waiting for a court, like all this like pre-time and post-time. I think that is a really good opportunity. I remember actually when I did team in training back in the day, the people that I bonded the most with were the people that I drove in like doing carpools with.
Yes.
Because we had to drive and talk. And I wouldn't say they became my BFFs, but they were at least like people I knew more than like nothing about, right? And I think if you can move it out of the group, the ideal, I think, would be finding like just that one person that you bond with a little.
Yes.
Like one person. It doesn't need to be the whole group. Eventually, it could become the whole group. Like if you find that one person, like I know, for instance, this is way harder to do than I'm saying because I feel like in my building, for instance, there's this one girl that I'm just like always really drawn to. She seems really cool. And I'm always like, I should ask her to like meet for coffee or get a drink or something. And it always feels really unnatural. And then I don't do it. Maybe this is like, for me, I'm holding myself accountable on this episode to like make that move. But I think like you have to like, suggest things. And the reality is everyone's coming to this stuff because they want to meet people. If they're like receptive to your advances, and I don't mean like hitting on them or flirting, but just like, you start talking and they talk back and they're like down, go like ask them to like do something after, like, hey, want to grab a drink or whatever. And I think if you start to like have that with one person, it could be now you extend it out to someone new next time. It becomes a ritual. Every week we go for a drink after run club. I understand, not as healthy, but whatever you want to do.
People do.
Smoothie.
People do.
Do whatever you want. Whatever you want. Go for a smoothie.
People do.
Eventually, maybe like the whole group will start to come, like the example of the soup, right? Like the tennis group.
But you're so right in calling that out. It's way harder than it sounds like. And because just getting the ball rolling is probably the toughest part. And then keeping the consistency because people fucking have lives.
Yeah.
And I get it. Like I've been rejected so many times by my tennis friends. They're like, oh, my kid's sick or we're going on a family vacation. I'm like, damn it. I was really hoping we can play this week. But you have to be prepared for that not everybody is looking for that ritual. But you just need to find exactly one other person and then you just recruit from there.
Right.
I do have to point this out that don't don't be disappointed if, you don't find your group right away. It takes time to build, but that's why it's so important to go in with your interests first, because even if you don't see that group building yet, at least you're still doing something you love.
So I think a hot tip for people is to arrive 15 minutes early and linger for like 20 minutes after, because I think you'll automatically find those people that maybe aren't as busy that way too, right? If they have that time, but it also just gives you more of that opportunity to form. Like if you're lingering after and you're like, hey, you want to go get that smoothie? Like maybe that person is more receptive because they're also there. I actually see this a lot at concerts. And, my partner, he loves concerts, and I go, and there's so many dudes that go by themselves. I'm like many dudes.
I know, yes.
Like if you're looking for single dudes by themselves, like a concert, I'm telling you, like indie rock, maybe not like, pop or whatever, but whatever, like something you like still, but not selling sacrifice. But he said before, if anyone actually talked to him during the show, he would have like, no, he couldn't. Like, it would be like getting in the way of his experience. But there's downtime. There's a lot of downtime. If you get there early, like we do, when I go with him, we get there like hours earlier. People are just sitting around, like chatting it up. Like, it's actually a really good opportunity if you do it and then plan accordingly.
Yep. And I've noticed that when I go to these tennis things, there's always water breaks and all of that, right, in between. And the people who are the most social are the ones who wear or carry something that is a conversation starter. For example, like their alma mater shirt, or they're carrying like a really bright water bottle, or they're carrying, they have a keychain that like lights up. Then people flock to them and they ask about this item, and then you start having the conversation. So sometimes you don't even need to be the one initiating, just have something that gives people permission to come and talk to you.
And also, you can be the social bridge. I think this is like, the people that are like the most connected in the clubs aren't the best athletes. They're the people that like introduce other people. They remember people's names. They organize the plans. They include new people. I think like if you could just be like, oh, remember one little thing that this person that you talked to said, of like, for instance, let's say they went to like Yosemite a few weekends ago. When someone else is talking about camping, you're like, oh, hey, Jane also went to Yosemite. You guys should connect. Like that instantly puts you into that mode that other people are now going to do the same for you.
Yes, exactly. And then it makes you feel like the senior in the class. I always think about like when I go to a new social thing, I'm like, am I the freshman or am I the senior? And if you're the senior, you're like, I know everybody. I got, I can introduce you all. You can feel more confident in those social interactions.
I think the other big key, and I learned this from 500 Brunches when I did that. And actually I was reading, so just a plug here, these pop-up social events is actually one of the fastest growing categories. Like, I don't know if you've seen ads for like Time Left, which is a terrible name. Doesn't it sound?
I know.
Like,
it's
is this like an elderly community?
Literally, I was like, funeral home? Oh my gosh, estate planning?
But it's... For anyone that's unaware of what they do, it's actually similar to what I did with 500 Brunches. I feel like I was like way ahead of the time. Like that would be thriving right now.
Seriously.
And it basically Time Left. It like organizes a small group to meet over dinner. And I feel like, I clearly met my ex through 500 Brunches. I met Yue through 500 Brunches. I still to this day was one of the best group things I did. I guess earlier I was saying I have never really done like a consistent group thing, but that is a lie because I did this. Yeah. I just didn't view it that way. But I think with that, one of the things I noticed is that one, it was okay to go alone. And two, it actually was better to go alone because then you talk to people. When you have a friend, you stay close to them. They become a crutch and you don't interact with other people. So I guess a tip is to go alone and not be afraid to go alone to this stuff. You don't need to find a friend that has the same interests in ceramics or improv or whatever it is. Like go. Or if you do go with a friend, like split up. Don't stay attached to them. Like integrate with other people. Like actually the improv class I did, I only did it one time, but it was a good way to meet new people. And, you know, my friends that continued on with it, like they have actually really bonded with a lot of these people. And a lot of us knew each other to begin with, but we didn't stay like attached. Like we talked to other people and it didn't feel like cliquey.
Improv is a great way to bond. You got stories for days after that. Like you've really survived a lot after an improv class.
The key was we would go to drinks after class too.
Yes.
So it's
you
the
made
continuation.
Yeah. Yes. With time left, I think you have to go alone before you die.
That's good.
Before they kill you. That's what I think.
Sorry, time left. Not a sponsor, clearly.
Show up alone and die. No, just kidding. But I think you have to go alone. But if you go with a friend, this is something I've done before, is like you give each other a challenge. Like our challenge for this evening is we have to meet at least one person per person.
Yeah.
And then introduce each other, right? And so you can like make it kind of a fun thing to meet others. My friend Jen just introduced me to a new one called Parlor. It's a social club. I think they're trying to do kind of like a Soho House, but without a house.
Cool.
It's not a, you know, you don't have to go to a specific place. So the events change places every time, but friends invite friends in. So it's an invite only kind of social club. I'm excited to check it out.
Yeah, it sounds like a lot of this stuff is like starting to come up, and I'm glad because I think this is, I mean, I thought like 500 brunches, and it sounds like all these are similar. What was so nice about it was that you actually got to talk to people. Like, again, I'm not shaming the tennises and pickleballs out there that you're kind of like getting a different benefit from some of those.
Yeah.
But this is like you are sitting down, and if you're in a small group, like you can't help but talk to people, everyone.
Yeah. I'm also going to do a plug for a friends thing. Like this is very many layers removed. It's called Resonate. So they do dating related talk. So they invite like experts, professors, psychologists to do a talk about the state of dating. And then afterwards they do a social mixer where they have a matchmaker that's already matched you with someone.
Oh.
But you don't know who it is. So you kind of like find out through that event. They just started and I think it's a great concept.
That's cool. I think with all of these, though, it's like you talked about this. Like you need to go frequent enough. Like the familiarity needs to grow. Like you can't just do it once. I remember we posted something and like someone's like, I went to this volunteer event and I didn't meet anyone, so I didn't go back again. It's like, okay, if you go like one time, like what do you expect? And I think that might be obvious to people, but sometimes we also have like inconsistency. Like I think the people in kickball when I went, the ones that really thrived and met a whole new group of friends, they went every time. And I feel like I was a little more like, I'll go one day and skip 3 weeks and come back. And it was harder to like get into the groove. Or if you're going to like classes and you go to different days or different times, like different groups of people, like it's hard to form that consistency and you kind of like reset every time.
Yeah. I think you all figure out your number. For me, 5 times is what forms a habit. So I just have to make myself to go at least 5 times before I feel comfortable saying this is my thing. And what's got me started in tennis was an adult tennis camp that lasted 7 weeks. So I was forced to be with these people and do this hobby once a week, every week for 7 weeks. And I thought that was a really good starting point just to build that habit. But also in examples for Facebook, they realize that once you have 5 friends on your Facebook page, you frequent Facebook more regularly. Now it's become a habit for you because you have the 5 interactions.
That's such a good point. I want to go into a few more tips, but before we do, let's take a quick break to hear from our sponsors. For all my fantasy romance lovers, there is a book for you to check out called Reign of Shadows and Endings by Melissa K. Rorick. It was an instant New York Times bestseller and started as a huge indie book talk hit. So if you've seen people raving online, this is the book. If you love dark romantasy, this one delivers. It's got fae, dragons, gods, shifters, vampires, basically everything you want, plus a really unique twist with modern technology woven into the fantasy world. It truly felt like you were being transported into a new world as I was reading this, which, to be honest, was the relief I needed for the crazy world we're living in. What I really liked too was that this series emphasizes mental health as the female main character is battling depression and anxiety, which ends up being a major plot point for the book. It's on sale now, so if you've been looking for your next fantasy binge, this is it. You can find Reign of Shadows and Endings by Melissa K. Rorick wherever books are sold in print and ebook.
I feel like summer always makes you reassess your wardrobe a little bit, right? You suddenly want lighter fabrics, softer materials, pieces that look polished without trying too hard. And that's exactly why I keep going back to Quince. They make high-quality essentials like breathable European linen, washable silk, soft organic cotton, but without the insane luxury markup. I am literally dressed head to toe in Quince right now. Quince linen, that is. And it's basically become my personality at this point. I've got the linen tank and the matching linen pants. It's comfortable enough to wear all day, but I still feel put together on calls, errands, dinner, and even recording podcasts. And their stuff is surprisingly affordable. Everything is priced 50 to 80% less than similar brands. Elevate your summer wardrobe. Go to quince.com/dateable for free shipping on your order and 365-day returns. Now available in Canada too. That's QUINCE.com/DATEABLE for free shipping and 365-day returns. Quince.com/dateable. Your home is more than just furniture. It's an extension of who you are, and the details matter more than you think. Like a rug. The right rug can completely transform how a space feels. And that's why I'm obsessed with my Ruggable. I went with this warm, neutral, boho-inspired design for my living room with earthy tones and a fun pattern, and it instantly made the whole space feel more intentional. Like, oh, someone put some thought into this. And what sealed the deal for me is that it's completely machine washable. Like, my dog Mojo does not care about interior design, and neither does Red Wine, apparently. So I've thrown it in the wash, and it comes out looking brand new every time. It's built for real life. Refresh your home at ruggable.com. Get 10% off your first order site-wide with promo code DATEABLE at ruggable.com. That's RUGGABLE.com and use the code DATEABLE at checkout.
I think the other thing I keep thinking about is like, how do you ask better questions and how do you form more bonds? Because this is kind of similar to like if you met on a dating app or you met anywhere, what you get out is only as good as what you put in. And like if you just ask people like, how long have they been climbing? Or like, do you play singles or doubles? It's like you're going to stay at that surface. So I like this idea of instead of focusing on logistics, focus on identity. Because there's a reason, there's a story why people came here in the first place. Like asking like what got you into this? Like what's the reason you started playing tennis? You would learn so much more about you, Yue, than you're just like, I don't know anything about tennis, but like some like logistical question.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Did you play in college? Like, I don't care about that.
Right.
It's not about the actual sport. It's like what drew you to this thing.
Right. And then you start to move from like an activity acquaintance to like an actual person.
I like that. Yes. And it's hard to ask these questions because when you're at these events, like my friend who joined a book club, all your questions are geared towards that book. But what you're saying here is you could rewire your brain to ask questions like, why did you find that relatable? Or why did you feel that way about that character? Was this something from your background, right? Related back to the person.
I think also it's like, how do you find that like continuity outside the activity? Because I'm thinking about like some friends of mine that have a book club. They already knew each other. So it's not like the perfect example, but I was in the book club for like 1 week and then I'm like, I can't handle this. So I left, but they had a very active group going, like a group text happening. And I feel like the book club was like kind of the reason why this group formed, but then it became so much more because they had all this extra stuff happening. So like with people you're meeting, I think it's not like the most high touch match, but it's a starting point. Like if you have, follow them on Instagram, get into a group chat, like share photos from like your running race or tennis match or whatever, like something that just, continues to build. And then you can ask more about their life. Like what happened, with that job interview or like that date they went on, and then remember that and bring it in. And then these people become friends, not just like random acquaintances.
Yeah, think about leaving the interaction with some sort of like souvenir or memento that you can share. I've seen people who say like end of a match and go, let's take a selfie. And that gives you an excuse to share the selfie with the group. Or if you're going to one of these social events, maybe end of the night, you can be the one to be like, let's take a group photo and then share it out too.
And you said this earlier, but I think it's worth restating is that like with all of this, we need to look at it less about like doing the event to find someone and more like co-experiencing this event together or activity together. And like, I think people can feel it when you're there just to like find friends or find a partner and find dates. It like feels like icky almost. Like, do they even like running or are they literally here just to like meet people, right? And I think when you shift it to like, what are you doing together? Like you were talking about earlier of like the shared struggle or like the shared, accomplishment that we have. But it also could be like inside jokes or rituals or something that you guys share together that can make it feel like you're co-creating instead of like using it as a means to an end.
Yeah. Yep. Going in with a better focus, because focus on the thing that you can control, right? Which is enjoying the event or the interest. The thing you can't control is who you're going to meet and what kind of person you're going to meet. So like get that out of your head. My favorite story, though, back to this figure drawing, I just wanted to circle back because this is so funny. My mom takes these senior classes at the local community. They're free. They're offered to, the senior population. And she loves art. So she signed up for this drawing class. Shows up first day, nude figure drawing.
Oh my
like this woman just disrobes, stands in front of them. And my mom was not the only one who was surprised by this. So she gave this other woman in the class like a look, and the other woman was like, oh, did you know this?
That's a bond, yeah.
And they became instant friends because they were both like, oh my God, I can't believe. But every week they went back and it was a different model.
Oh my God.
Ranging in all kinds of shapes and sizes and ages.
Always
and they
nude?
Always nude.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes they had props. Like she said there was this old man that had like war props, like a sword and
oh my God.
and a shield. And she was like, it was the best bonding experience of meeting this new friend because both of them came in not knowing this is going to happen.
But that is what bonds you, right? Like something ridiculous is usually like what bonds you. I think like through all of this though, like you have to keep going to stuff that you're passionate about.
Yes.
Like I think that is the underlying piece of this because it is that repeated shared experience. And if you're like struggling through a run, you're not having a shared experience with someone if you're like miserable the whole time. So I think with all of these, like there's so many things you can find. Like this is, everyone could find what works for them ultimately. Yeah. I think it's like thinking outside of the box though. It doesn't need to just be these like sports. It absolutely could be. But I'm even thinking about the episode like we did with Bella. And she was talking about how they did that like cooking class or not, I guess you could do cooking class too, but they had like this cooking club that like every month they made a new cuisine. So like there's so many things you can do. There's so many workshops. Like I've done like photography classes before, but I've only done it once. If I went like every week, I think that would be like what makes the change.
Yeah. I think I'm too lazy to do this, but there's so many great restaurants, new restaurants popping up all the time. If I had the time, I would make a list of all the restaurants I want to hit.
Yeah.
Every Thursday, I'm going to show up, whether someone comes with me or not. And then I know this group would build, right? It's the group of people who just want to try new restaurants. I've already done the work for them. I've already made this list. Like, start there. I feel like that could go over pretty well. Most
Well, it was
cities.
like our tea that we used to do. Remember?
Oh, I love that.
We used to have, for anyone listening, UA and I used to do this tea, like month. It was like
so
a
fun.
monthly tea that we would like go to high tea. And it started off with like your friend, Vanessa.
Like 4 of us.
Her friend, and then you invited me.
Yeah.
And then I started to invite friends. Other people started to invite friends. And by the end, we kind of had this like eclectic group of people that like we didn't know before. And we like really loved that time together. It was super fun.
It was so fun. Something you look forward to. There's a theme to it. You get dressed up for it. It's something new and novel. Always a good time.
And like you could be being like, well, how does that relate to dating if you're with a bunch of girls, if like you're seeking men? And I think first of all, like sometimes it's just like finding other people in your life stage is a benefit, even if you're just getting that connection, whatever it is. But also you never know who they know and what other door it's going to open. That's really the key of all of this.
You know, people have cousins, brothers, neighbors, coworkers.
I remember this girl was like, I want to set you up with my cousin. I'm like, okay, you know, it never happened. But I was like, great, you know?
Yeah, deliver.
I think it really comes down to, though, if we were to distill it into like the 3 things, it's like repeated shared experiences, slightly increased vulnerability, like taking a little bit of an emotional risk and like, you know, bringing the conversation from like, you know, 1 to 2, like a little higher each time, and then continuity outside of the event.
Yes. That actually applies to dating apps too. Like I feel like this all applies to dating as well. If you just start dating someone, same thing. Put in the same sort of effort to create that familiarity. I think connection builds from familiarity. So how do we do that?
So that's actually a good segue into what I wanted to talk about next, because there's this article floating around Time. Have you seen this? It was basically called "Run Clubs Are a Horrible Place to Meet." That was the title. And it got my attention because you all know that I don't love run clubs because I don't love running. But, and I think what annoyed me about run clubs, it's not the run club. It's the fact that people were like, everyone must go to a run club to meet someone.
This is the place.
Yeah, right. It's the new dating app. And it's like, again, if you like running, go for it. But if you don't push yourself. There's like a million other activities. But anyways, this article got my attention, but it's not actually for the reason that you think that it says running clubs are a horrible place to meet. It was basically saying that they almost worked too well, that people were finding all these people to date. But what would happen is because you kept going back to this group, you would end up seeing like the person you went on a date with last week and now they're like talking to someone else, or you have that like situationship that won't commit, but you see them every week in the run club. And there was this quote here that, I mean, there's a couple things I pulled out because I found this so fascinating. The quote was, "But beneath the promise of organic connection, these communities often reproduce the same dynamics as online dating: ghosting, disposability, and romantic churn." And I think this is an issue that we have, is like we just want to find that silver bullet of where to meet someone. And I don't think it's that. I think it's our behaviors. It's our mindset. It's the stuff that we talk about on Dateable, of like, how do you actually like behave in a dateable way, and like, you know, builds that emotional like resilience too. I don't know if it's a silver bullet to just go to the run club and like people are just going to suddenly be like super connecting and wonderful.
You need discernment. You can't just go out with anybody and like, you know, because you know you're going to be seeing these people all the time. This is one of the main reasons why I resisted this group of Asians in San Francisco. Like if you've lived in San Francisco, you know there's like a group of Asians and they date each other and then they all gossip about each other. They're all like exes. And once you're in, it's like you have this reputation. I feel like run clubs are similar. It's because it becomes incestuous. You end up dating everyone, and then the gossip spreads and it becomes like a high school again. So just be discerning. Don't be going out with everybody you meet.
Right. I think, though, it's kind of interesting. The perspective in this article is that they were saying that what they hate about dating apps plays out physically in front of them. That, like, your friend in the run club is asked out by the same guy.
It's like reality TV.
Yeah.
That's what it's like.
So I do think, like, discernment is a big piece of it, but also the expectations that, like, this isn't going to just magically change. And I'm not excusing bad dating behavior, but like dating apps, it's like, be the person you want to date. And, if someone's giving you 1 or 2%, like, get out. It's not just because you met through the run club or magically some other way. It doesn't excuse, like, poor treatment.
Yeah. Just because you're off the dating apps does not mean those problems end.
Right. It's a larger issue. And I think that's, like, why when people come to us a lot of times, they're like, I can't meet people. Like, where should I go? What should I do? And it's like, of course, like, get out there, meet people. But it's really, like, the energy you're coming off with, right?
Yeah.
And, like, how much work you've done to be in a place that you can handle all the ups and downs of dating, and you can connect to people in a way that is vulnerable and available, but then also recognize, like, when you're not getting it back too.
100%.
I think too, with, like, dating apps, this is, like, another whole conversation for another day. There's a lot of changes happening with AI dating apps. And I think it's great. I think it's good that dating apps are changing. Like, the fact they've been, like, stale for, like, decades, like, the fact that there's some innovation happening and work maybe is getting reduced, that we don't have to, like, swipe endlessly. All that is good. But my biggest concern is, like, the outcome is going to be the same, because it's actually not the technology, but it's the human behavior that's happened. So I think it kind of is in line with this. It's like, that's the problem we need to solve more than, like, the medium.
Right.
I think this has been a really good conversation. I think first and foremost, helping people actually leverage the environments and make something out of them, not just going and being like, why is no one talking to me? But also, the fact that, like, it's not just about where you go, it's how you show up once you're there is my biggest takeaway from this convo.
The ultimate experiment in all of this is finding yourself, and you're going to find yourself through going to these different activities and events. Go try them and see how it sits with you. The goal is to understand how you relate to these activities and then how you relate to the people who show up at them, and take note of it, because that's really going to dictate, like, how you identify in relation to it. And I think have fun with it. Let's have fun. Isn't it time to have some fun?
Right.
You all got off the apps because you thought it wasn't fun. Well, this isn't going to be fun either if you show up with the same attitude. So let's just have fun, go meet people, go learn some new skill or interest or something stupid or wild or crazy. It doesn't even matter. Just go have a good time, and then you're not going to regret it.
And that's why it's so important to find the thing that actually lights you up, because even if you meet 0 people from it, it's still, like, something that's good for you and that you enjoy doing. I think the final takeaway I have too is, like, you don't necessarily need to, like, abandon something just not meeting people. Like, I liked your example, UA, is like, I love tennis. Maybe I'm not forming lifelong bonds with people there, but I'm going to try this, social club, dinner club or whatever. And maybe there I will actually, like, talk in a different way. And, like, tennis is serving one purpose and that's doing something else.
Yeah. I'm still on the right journey, right?
You're still getting value, whatever it is, and value can be defined in different ways.
Yeah, exactly.
Awesome.
Great convo, and we want to hear your thoughts. Why don't you give us a rating and review in Apple Podcasts or on Spotify on this episode? Tell us what is something you're trying recently, or maybe you have already tried. Share your experience. We read all of the comments, but please give us a 5-star rating first, because otherwise, why are we talking? Why are we talking in the first place?
And also make sure to go pick up How to Be Dateable, our book, because we actually talk about in the Investing Appropriately chapter, one of my favorite chapters, about using dating apps and meeting people in real life in a way that works, whether that's through
Mhm.
different tips that we didn't even go into in this episode, but also just like how do you manage your time so you don't get burnt out? Because I think that's part of it too, is you don't want to take on every last thing and feel the burnout. You want to do everything in a sustainable way that powers your battery so you have a lot to give when you're actually there.
That's
So,
right.
howtobedateable.com, get audiobook or hardcover or Kindle. So many options.
Okay, we're going to wrap up this episode.
Stay
dateable.
Most people don't realize how much their personal information is being bought and sold every day. Data brokers are making billions, pulling details about you from public records and the internet, and then packaging and selling it, usually without your consent. That's how your information lands in the hands of scammers, spammers, even stalkers. It's why you get endless robocalls and why ads seem to follow you everywhere. That's where Aura comes in. Aura actively removes your data from broker sites and keeps it off. They also instantly alert you if your information shows up in a breach or on the dark web. But Aura goes beyond data protection. With one app, you get a VPN, antivirus, password manager, spam call protection, dark web monitoring, and even up to $5 million in identity theft insurance, all backed by 24/7 US-based fraud support. Other companies might sell just credit monitoring or just a VPN. Aura gives you all of it, together, at the same price competitors charge for just one service. Start your free trial today at aura.com/remove. Protect yourself now at aura.com/remove.